Okay. Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm Gunit Sethi, and I welcome you all to this 8th National Conference on Disability, which has been organized by Sarthak Educational Trust and National Abilympics Association of India. Viewers, we have a very interesting panel discussion coming up, which is on Abilympics Moscow 2022, an enabler for PwD enterprises. Abilympics word was coined to mean Olympics of abilities. Abilities, of course, we all understand. It is a skill to do something or proficiency in a particular work area. We all have some abilities which are inbuilt or natural. And during our life, we work with these underlying abilities to develop our skills, which we improve over time. So this event, Abilympics, it focuses on vocational skills for PWDs, and various competitions are held around this theme. The event brings together people with disability who compete, and they compete to show to the world that everyone has equal rights and opportunities, and more so that everyone is capable of acquiring skills. Besides competition, the event also draws our attention to the quality of work that PWDs offer. And the participants, when they compete, participating itself in this event, preparing for the event, and facing various challenges related to the event. It helps to build up their confidence, their personalities, which goes a long way in their life. This event brings national and global experts together who share their knowledge and practical wisdom. The first Abilympics was held in Tokyo in 1981. This was to honor United Nations International Year of Disabled. It received wide response from government and non-government organizations, and since then it's held every 4 years internationally and has been hosted by many nations. The forthcoming event, Abilympics Moscow 2022, it is expected to be an enabler for PWD entrepreneurs because they will get a chance to expose their unique talents in this event. The world will see their imagination, their creativity, their skills, all put together in the final output at display. Friends, it's a constantly changing environment, and it is essential to have skills to meet the challenges of life. And our Divyangjans definitely have skills in them. Transformation in technology has brought changes in global economies, and this has enabled new business opportunities. People sitting in one part of the world can get connected anywhere around the world. So hopefully this event brings very good opportunities for people with disabilities, and we look forward to a world which is building more on resolutions rather than resentments. So with these words, I will now like to introduce to you Professor G.S. Saini, who is the moderator of this session. Professor Saini worked with National Institute of Technical Teachers Training and Research in different positions for 34 years. He retired in 2019 as professor and head of entrepreneurship department. Professor Saini is having his research interests in the field of entrepreneurship, rural development, rehabilitation, education and training for persons with disabilities, and small enterprise management. He has been guiding Sarthak Chandigarh Centre in capacity of advisory board member. He is closely associated with education, training, and employment of PwDs and had successfully organized the fourth national level Abilympics in Chandigarh in the year 2014. So I conclude here and I invite Professor Saini to kindly take over and start the panel discussion. Thank you.
We are trying to get Saini sir online. He's facing some network issues. He'll be back in a moment.
Guneet ma'am, Saini sir has got dropped off from the call. He'll be joining shortly. In the meantime, you can proceed with the session and we can start with Bhushan Punani sir first.
Okay, just give me a while, please.
Sure, ma'am.
उधर से कर लो. मेरा टर्न ही आ गया है. बंद कर दो, बंद कर दो.
Is that Professor Saini on the line now?
He's still trying to join.
Should I start with Mr. Bhushan Punani, Executive Secretary, BPA?
Guneet ma'am, Saini sir have just joined. I think he'll take the proceedings.
Hello.
Yes,
Saini, sir,
Professor Saini.
You're clear. Go ahead, please.
Can I be heard now? I'm so sorry. I
That's
lost.
okay. That's okay, Professor Saini. I think without losing time, we can start. We can proceed.
Okay. See, thank you, Madam Guneet Sethi, for initiating the discussion. And I suppose you have already been told about the time limitations. We have this session from 11 to 12:15 and almost a dozen speakers. So this methodology which I want to follow in this particular session is, so what I'll do is I'll request each of the speaker to speak for maybe 5 minutes or so, and thereafter having completed all presentations, maybe we can have maybe 5 to 10 minutes question answer session. That's how it's going to go about. Rather than introducing all the panelists at a time, what I intend to do with the permission of the chair, so I'll introduce one speaker and request that particular speaker to make the presentation, and thereafter the next speaker follow. So that's how we have planned the session. So the very first speaker in this particular session today will have presentation from Dr. Bhushan Punani ji. And Dr. Bhushan Punani doesn't really need any introduction. In the area of disability, I consider him as a legend. Dr. Bhushan Punani did his PGDM from Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. Thereafter, he did his law, LLB, and having done law, then completed PhD in the area of disability. Dr. Bhushan Punani joined Blind People's Association as General Secretary and worked at in different positions. And because of his, expertise in the area of disability, So he's been frequently consulted by various state government and also by the central government. He has contributed significantly, particularly in the area of, particularly for drafting Rights of Person with Disability Act and many other legislations in India. He's been awarded at national level and international level many a time. So he has done significant work, carried on various projects, and contributed a lot towards in the disability sector. So in today's session, we have a request to Dr. Bhushan Punani, basically to let the audience know as to how government bodies can be involved in promoting Abilympics and international Abilympics at the international level, particularly when we talk of India. So how do we go about increasing this thing? How do we go about promoting Abilympics in India, particularly in rural India and peri-rural India? Okay. At the same time, I would request Dr. Bhushan Punani to throw a little more light on as to how we should go about creating self-employment opportunities for persons with disability in India. So over to you, Dr. Punani, please.
Thank you very much, Professor Sani. Thank you, Gunitji, and thank you all my co-presenters. Just like to have a small 5 minutes presentation. And I request the organizer to permit me to share the screen, if it's possible, that it will be easier for me. Yeah. Can you just permit the sharing of screen?
Sir, you're good to go.
In the meantime, while we're getting the screen, I mean, this basically government has a big role to play in any developing country, more so in India, because a lot of support in this country and many countries come from government, and they have a big role to play in promoting skill development, employment of the people with disabilities. As you can see on the screen, yeah. You can see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's the state and the central government which have to promote skill development. So whatever we do in Abilympic, anywhere in the country, we should see that directly or indirectly, government is involved in that. And as you know, we have a very bold act, Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act, where we have 5% reservation for involving people with disabilities in all developmental program. According to me, skill development, employment, self-employment are a developmental category. So they have to be involved under the quota of 5%. So this is a very bold initiative of our country, which should be exploited. Unfortunately, not being used so much for the time being. So I request all the organizer to see that government is approached upon. We do advocacy and see that they involve us to the extent of 5%. And that needs very strong advocacy initiative with the Ministry of Skill Development. I must admit that we have not succeeded too much to break ice with the Ministry of Skill Development, Department of Persons with Disabilities. And they really have not appreciated the importance of Abilympic as a source for skill development. But we have to keep on putting our efforts. And something very important, there's a lot of scope now from the corporate, as Sarthak is already doing. You can get a lot of support from the corporate and the CSR for skill development under the 10 areas under 135 section of Companies Act. Skill development is a recognized area. So we should motivate the corporate to come forward and to extend support for this area. This could be one way of ensuring participation of the government and the corporate in our type of movement. And then the most important thing is that now there could be a lot of institutional support for the people with disabilities. Can you see slide number 2?
So we are still on slide number 1. You can just click on slide number 2.
Yeah. Okay, slides are not coming. There's some technical problems. So just to share with you now, I'll go to the second area of self-employment. So I thought, as participants are very eminent, so are the speakers. Yeah. Yes. Now I just want to give a few examples that how self-employment has become the real need of the hour and how skill development can promote self-employed people with disabilities across the country. You have on the screen Smear Kakkar, a very outstanding person with disabilities. He's a wheelchair person. He developed the skills of modifying the cars. Now cars are used everywhere across the country. Now people with disability need a modified car, and he has developed expertise, a skill. Any car you give him, Indian or imported, he is able to modify the car according to the need of the person with disabilities, and that's giving lot of employment to himself and number of other people with disabilities who work with him. So these could be new innovations, that why can't we think of something out of the box and do something very different. You have on the screen Sudha Patel, a person with vision impairment. Imagine that she had that skill of retailing, marketing. Today she has Patanjali's showroom, is franchisee for the city of Nadyad, and her turnover is 3 crores. There could be 100,000 of people like her who could have such retail franchisee across the country, but they need to be trained. Now it's challenge for Sarthak, challenge for all of you, that how we motivate such people to compete with everybody and to go for the skill of retailing and become the largest supporters. And she's doing extremely well. And so is another innovative thing, Dr. Kunal Shastri. He developed the skill of preaching. He's a person with vision impairment. He has memorized all the Vedas, Purans, Gita, Bhagavad Gita, everything. Today he has following of thousands of people. Whenever his preaching is there, the people join in very large number. And his waiting time is 2 years. And he's very respected person. There could be many people I have seen in Bangladesh, in Rajasthan, a lot of people working in mosque and reciting Quran, and they have been earning a lot of livelihood. In every village, you need people like them. And impressed from him, he got the national award as the most outstanding person who had a big achievement to his credit. So is Jignesh. Now Jignesh is again a wheelchair person. He developed the skill of manufacturing, fabricating the special wheelchairs, motorized scooters. And today he is doing extremely well, and he's managing number of people. Now these are out of the box things which can be source of self-employment. Now let's go for something other high-tech. This is Shruti. You all will be very honored to know she's the first deafblind person on the earth to become a physiotherapist. Today she's doing pediatric physiotherapy. For the time being, she's working as advocacy manager with Sensitization India. So in any rural area, if there's a person with disability who becomes a physiotherapist, masseur, Japanese medical therapist, they can earn a lot of livelihood, become a role model. So this is a skill of reaching people in the rural areas. Now see the direct skill. Something on the screen, you see something unbelievable. Rajesh is on the screen. He runs a patty shop in a village near Limbadi. Now it's hard to believe that he's a person who's deafblind, totally deafblind, and runs a beautiful shop making papda, jalebi, penda, and selling, weighing everything. There's a video available on beepindia.org website. You can see that how a person like Rajesh can be given skills of making small sweets in the villages and running their own enterprise. And so is another very beautiful example. A group of women have formed a self-help group. They make the sanitary napkins. Now there's a skill of producing sanitary napkins. Now they are earning a very decent livelihood in the villages of Limbadi. And now a number of other self-help groups are coming up, which have the skill of giving products to the people everywhere. And then now there's another group of women who are packing the sanitary napkins and supplying all over Gujarat. They're doing extremely well. And most important, there's another very good skill available, making the gift article. There could be a lot of people who can make variety of gift articles and sell in the nearby towns and the village itself. Now, just to conclude, according to me, I mean, we have to take a road which is the untrodden one. as said by Robert Frost. If you take the road which is less traveled by, you will make the difference. I'm sure Abilympic have a great future, provided we involve the government, we involve the community, we go to villages, and most important, we involve the organization, parents organization, disabled people's organization, and more so the parent themselves and people with disabilities. If that is the case, I'm sure Abilympic will make a big dent. Thank you, Professor Sani, for giving me the time. I hope I could speak within the time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I wish
Thank
you all a
you.
great day.
Thanks a lot, Professor Bhushan Punani, and sharing your experiences, particularly in the area of promoting employment and self-employment for persons with disability. So, without taking any more time now, I would like to introduce the second panelist. And the second panelist we have is Colonel Ravi Kharbanda. Colonel Ravi Kharbanda, in fact, has a defense background, basically retired as brigade as colonel from Indian Army, and thereafter he got associated with various skill development related initiatives. He worked with CII, he worked with the National Skill Development Corporation, and in fact, because of his expertise in the area of skill development, he was posted as project head for skill development project in Afghanistan, and he operationalized that project. Thereafter, he's been associated with various skill development initiatives within the country, and he's been associated with world skill competitions and represented India in many other countries many a time. And that's the kind of interest he has. And because of his association with skill development, so we thought probably we'll request Dr. Colonel Ravi Kharbanda to basically share with all of us as to how corporate can really be involved in providing exposure to persons with disability who have to participate in international Abilympics. How can corporate connections be utilized, and how is it corporate in India can really contribute to enriching the experiences of persons with disability and preparing them for international Abilympics. So over to you, sir. And my request you to kindly finish your presentation in 5 minutes.
Thank you, Sani Saab, for the kind words, and good morning, everybody. And need thanking the Abilympic Association and Sarthak management to provide me this occasion to speak to you. Well, yes, you all are very right. The corporate support is crucial and definitely vital to provide advanced training and international exposure for people with disabilities, for competition, and even for placement. Well, the government and the corporate are conscious about it and are definitely working today. They got training facilities as of now. Learning India Private Limited is there. Department of Empowerment has come up. National Action Plan has been worked out. Well, yes, the Skill Council for Persons with Disabilities is equally there. And even as Bhushan Saab very rightly brought out, the government has enacted the Right and Full Protection Act, where 5% assured government jobs are provided to them. And large number have been employed in Lemon Tree, IDC, IBM, and then essential large number of groups. They are welcoming the people. Well, definitely, I must say, it is just not enough. Much more needs to be done, required to be done. More corporate support is required. More corporates and the industry has to be interacted. Their CSR responsibility should be more, should come forward. NGOs should be coming forward. They are there, but much more needs to be done. Well, I take it as basically is the promotion. I consider our people as untapped resource, which are widely available and not tapped. Now, corporate considers costly for business to accommodate people with specific needs. Although the research has proved otherwise, that people with the workforce and they outperform their peers in all respects to achieve tangible financial benefits in the profit-wise is much better. Economically, they find much better. And there's definitely these gains which are there offset the cost of accommodating people with disability. Also, it has been noticed that corporates with inclusivity in workforce, the mental satisfaction for the good deed and good cause provides happiness, and employees are definitely happy. And above all, now talking to the very specific, I must say, Ministry of Skill Development is definitely there. We all accept is there. But they have to be tapped, they have to be approached and made conscious about what is there. Because they are the one responsible for skill development and skill competitions. Now, just to avoid duplicacy, I'll just recommend is for which we'll take action. Ministry of Skill Development has mission directors in all the states of the country. Along with that, the people from the NSDC are attached as state engagement officers. Well, they promote, they are the one who go to the grassroots level, they promote for skill development, for the participation, they have the competitions among themselves. In the state, at each level, the competition is there. Why not our people also compete at that level? That will give good exposure to the public, to the people, and awareness is created. Another, the way we find direct involvement is there, which is feasible, is there. Now the world skill, the government is preparing through NSDC people selected for the world skill competition. They're having the nationals. Nationals, of course, our people are being permitted. Fortunately, we must thank the ministry, allowing our people to showcase our skill just next month, coming month, where our people will be showcase their skill and the aptitude. Above that, when our team is also prepared, what we want is the corporate and the industry who's there. They about 60 odd trainers, rather I should be saying 70 odd people from the corporate, they're helping preparing those teams. Why not their support come to us? Some of them which are akin to our skills, they should be supporting us. And with their support, they get the international exposure. They get awareness of the world skill standard specifications. By that, what I mean is they work on they see or observe, working on the latest international tools, the equipment. That is what the industry wants, because industry is looking for people who have exposure working on the updated tools of the world. Once that is there, the employment increases. Besides that, they have a lot of role, and the people who get the exposure definitely perform better at the Olympic as well. With their support, I don't find a reason why we won't do better. And finally, definitely, other MNCs are there. We should be approaching them. We are approaching them. But what we need is possibly, it is this thing, we're not being able to project ourselves well. What we need is promotion, or we request the industry leaders in the forum, they must talk of the aptitude and the specific qualities what our people possess. Like our people are much more sincere. Our people are definitely, you can't deny, they have a better resistance. They are team workers and they can perform better as what has been seen. So once that is projected through them, that will give our people much more weightage and awareness to the people. Another place where I've seen is in the world skill competition also, there is a provision for our people to participate. Although no difference, they have to be, they have to work on the same criteria, the same module, same aspect, same equipment. Only provision for leverage for increase in time is there. I don't think we are aware of that. I've not seen anybody as of now from a country competing at the World Skill International who are from our source, people with disability. They are also eligible to participate. People from other countries are coming. None has come from our country, only on the belief that we have our own Olympic Association competitions. But here is a forum. When they are prepared for that, that means you are prepared to the international level. So this gives a wide promotion and publicity to our people. So I must say, when we go for the competition, which is very forthcoming, very soon, our team should go with pride, well prepared, and come back with glory and bring laurels to the country after winning medals. Once we follow that and the industry support, with their support, I don't find a reason we won't make our people leaders, people as ambassadors, and the people who are participating as role models for the country. Thank you
Sorry
so
for
much.
interruption, Colonel Saab. Request you to kindly quickly conclude.
Yeah, thank you so very much. You're very right. This is which I conclude. With this support, we'll come back with laurels. Thank you so very much. And we wish all the people participating all the very best. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for your efficient presentation and very meaningful presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, I take this opportunity to welcome our guests from Russia. And we have Mr. Igor Gribanov. I'm sorry in case I'm not in a position to announce the name properly. So Mr. Igor, in fact, happens to be the head of Abilympics National Center for Russian Federation. And as you all are aware, this year, in 2022, Russia has taken the responsibility of organizing International Abilympics. So we would like to know from Mr. Igor as to how Russia is really going about, as to how they are gearing up for organizing the International Abilympics. And the idea is, let's learn from the organizers and let's try to incorporate some of their suggestions. And that's what would make Indian participation little more meaningful. So over to Mr. Igor, and I suppose he would like to speak for 2 to 3 minutes. I'm sorry, I do not have any more information for introducing him, and maybe he may like to tell us little more about him as well. Thank you. Over to Mr. Igor.
Excuse me, one moment.
Hello.
Excuse me, my friends, one moment.
Okay. Once again, my request to all the speakers to take as minimum time.
Dear colleagues, my name is Igor Gribanov. I am the head of Abilympics National Center of the Russia Federation. I am happy to greet participants of 8th National Conference on Disability. The Russian Federation, represented by the Olympic National Center, entirely supports your initiatives, as it is very important to exchange experience and to develop the international experts community. They are very glad that the Republic of India has made the decision to participate in 10 international Abilympics, and has submitted not only 30 participants for 26 contexts, categories, but also provides 5 international judges. They are honored to welcome the delegation from the Republic of India at 10 International Abilympics in Moscow in 2022. Thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome to Russia.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Igor. And now we move on to our next panelist. Our next panelist is Dr. Jitendra Jamda. Dr. Jitendra Jamda happens to be associated with the Red Swastik Society. In fact, here again, I didn't get much about, I didn't have much of information.
Sorry, yeah, I couldn't share.
Jitendra Jamda. And what I will request to you is, rather than okay, you introduce yourself and
I'll make it quick.
And try to make it within 5 minutes so that we save little
Of course. Well, I'll make it within 5 minutes. Well, good morning, everybody, because it's about 11 o'clock here, 11:30 in the morning here. And I would like to start with the Sanskrit shloka, which says, Mukam karoti vachalam, pangum langahete girim, yat kripa tamaham vande, paramananda madhavam. So any person who's deaf and mute can start communicating. Any person who's physically disabled can climb up on the mountains by the grace of the Almighty. Now, when we say grace of Almighty, what actually these scriptures mean is the power of your self strength, your personal power, because if you have disabilities of different types and you wish to succeed in life, you have to climb over the mountains. So obviously for that you require the grace of the Almighty. Now, the subject which has given to me is regarding how to reach or increase the outreach of the Abilympics concept and the Abilympics phenomena all over the world. And of course, how to choose and pick the best candidates who can compete and who can ultimately be our winners and who can establish in this world that our disabled can really perform very well. Now, because in India, the concept is, of course, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the whole earth is a family. And therefore, we do not really differentiate between India and Africa and America. But, however, having said that, we have the developed country, we have the poorer, undeveloped country, and the developing country. So, obviously, the solution for all these three, for the two situations which I am supposed to deal with today, is different. The first thing is that I really want to congratulate our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. For Vikalangata, he coined the term Divyangata. Now that's a very important phenomena which I think has made a lot of change in the personal perception of our specially abled persons. And as we know in English also, we started by calling them handicapped. Then we started calling them disabled. Then we started calling them challenged. And now we call them specially abled. And what is important is to pick up their special abilities and convert it into their strength, because every person has to make, at some point of time in their lives, a SWOT analysis of their own personality and compare it with the society. And then you try to put your strengths in the front and put your weaknesses at the back so that you succeed in life. Now, today, the world population is reaching 8 billion, of which India is contributing 1.4 billion. It's a huge population. And the third world country, the undeveloped and the developing country, are around 6 billion, because China and America, Now, of course, they are, and plus, of course, the entire Europe are the developed nations. The problems in the developed countries and the undeveloped countries or developing countries are different. We are talking about international Olympics, where a person from America, Pennsylvania, from France, Paris, from London, and also from maybe India, small village near Jabalpur, or maybe from Nigeria, maybe from Somalia, from wherever they are participating. And we have these 30 odd modalities in which they have to prove their ability. And these 30 modalities will ultimately settle them in life. Now, how to reach every corner of the world, how to reach each and every place, and right from North Pole to South Pole, I've got certain suggestions for that. And the first and foremost is the media sensitization. You must understand that if media understands the demands of the disabled, of the specially able, and if the media takes it upon itself to convey this message all over the world of National Olympics, then obviously we will be winners. It will be a win-win situation for the media as well as for us. And therefore, big media giants, there are big media people, and their CSR, the company social responsibility, we must actually appeal to their social responsibility to increase their coverage of the success stories of our specially abled challengers and specially abled champions. Now, second is, of course, government sensitization. My previous panelists said that it is difficult to get into the skill development ministry. I think with Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the helm of the affair, it should not be difficult at all. So, government sensitization. If governments all over the world take it upon themselves to take care of the SWOT analysis of these young boys, girls, and everybody, then I'm sure that problem will be sorted out. The third is the role of NGOs. And this is very important because the media, the government can reach a certain section of the society, but NGOs have absolutely no boundaries. They can reach each and every corner of the world. Fourthly, we have the political parties. These political parties also have, in India at least, they definitely have wings for the disabled. And then, of course, once we understand the unique power of the individual, there are five types of disabilities. We have the hearing impaired, the vision impaired, we have the mentally disabled, we have the physically challenged, and of course, multi-disabled. And for each and every disability, there is a unique solution, and that unique solution needs to be done. My last couple of 1 minute maybe is that how to involve the society in all this, and that is a job which you are doing, which everyone on this panel I can see, they are all doing this wonderful job of involving the society. But my last suggestion and the most important suggestion to everyone on this panel and appeal to all over the world is the motivation and training of these special educators. Unless the special educators are trained to pick up children with their special abilities, then we will be able to provide champions on the national level, on the international level, and all over the world. And our aim object will be achieved. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Jitendra Jamda for making a very interesting presentation. And I'm sure your suggestions are definitely going to strengthen the International Abilympics movement. Thank you very much. And now we move on to our next panelist. Our next panelist is Dr. Professor Sushma Goyal. Madam Sushma Goyal is presently working with the Lady Irwin College at Delhi. and she is head of the Department of Resource Management and Design Application Department. In fact, Madam Sushma Goyal has been associated with Abilympics movement in India for quite some time now. And she is very closely associated with providing training to some of our hearing and speech impaired, particularly in the area of painting and waste reuse. So, Madam, in light of your association of imparting training to persons with disability in this given trade, I would request you to kindly share your experiences and at the same time share with us as to how the training can further be made still more useful for participants who have to represent India in international Abilympics. So over to you, ma'am. And kindly restrict your presentation from for 3 to 4 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Saini. And I am happy to be part of this panel discussion. I also thank Sarthak for having me here. As the task given to me is, I have to share about my experiences. Of course, my experience of interactions with differently abled, as I call them, has been quite encouraging, and that is why I'm continuing with it, because I find all of these differently abled people, I find them having excellent concentration. They are passionate about whatever they are doing, and they do it with dedication, and that really motivates. A teacher wants that. If someone is motivated, you want to teach more. It's like that. Now, we definitely have been doing offline trainings where these national winners and also regional winners have been coming to our college, and we've been interacting with them very closely. But with the dawn of pandemic, that really opened so many, I would say, many opportunities for us, because we also explored and we went on for online training. And, there we also learned how to really go about training them. So what we did was, since we were not face-to-face and we were quite far off, but then the way we conducted the trainings, we developed a manual. And for developing the manual, we were having, for each session, we were preparing presentations, and these were all graphical presentations. So because the presentations were graphical, so they were able to understand better. And also because both the participants, winners, were hearing challenged. So we had an interpreter who was always with us to help us out, to communicate whatever were the lacuna, whatever were the gaps in between in communication. Also, it was very interesting. We had a WhatsApp group. So whatever task was given to them, they would definitely present during the session. And then there were evaluation of whatever work they had done. So it was very, very elaborate discussions about how they could improve whatever they had done. So this is how we went about. And after improvement, they would also post it on the WhatsApp group. So that helped. Now, because the task given for the competition is painting along with waste reuse. And, a person who's so passionate about painting, somehow feels that why should I, be going in for waste reuse? But definitely, we were quite successful in making them understand that because we have to be sustainable in our lifestyle, in whatever we do. And as a painting profession, they have a big responsibility. So, we really focused on how we can apply the skill of painting, which both of these participants had, how they could apply it, how could they expand the scope of painting to a larger horizon. So, nowadays we are talking about Swachh Bharat, or let us say pollution-free Bharat, or COVID control. So we picked up themes on social issues, and we made them do paintings on that. And then we said, okay, along with this painting, we also use waste in order to enhance whatever work has been done. So that was very good, and that was taken up very well. And we did a lot of demonstrations again and showed them a lot of videos, so here again, a lot of use of digital technology was made use of, which was very handy, which was very helpful. And now I see in the task also, it says visual merchandising is something, where waste reuse and painting can be deployed. And I find this is an excellent task given to for the international competition. I hope we can contribute purposefully, meaningfully for the international competition, and the winners will do well. And also the manual which we have prepared would also go a long way, because those who are now aspiring to pick up painting and pick up this passion, so they can use it for furthering it, because here we have talked about the techniques, we've talked about methods of painting, and some of these methods are very, very they will help them speed up their painting process, because speed is also very important, because in competition, if you can do something very fast, then definitely you have more time to think and you have more time to improve and consolidate your work. So with these words, I wish good luck and thank you so much for calling.
Thank you, madam. Grateful to you for your presentation, and I forgot to tell you about the outstanding contribution of Madam Sushma Goyal in the area of research. She has guided, successfully guided, supervised more than 70, I suppose 77 dissertations and 11 PhDs. And she's been carrying on number of sponsored research projects. She has won number of awards at within the country. And that's something which I should have mentioned in the beginning, but I thought of saving little time. Anyway, thank you very much, ma'am. And now we move on to our next panelist. Our next panelist is Dr. Pratik Jan from Sgt University. Dr. Pratik Jan happens to be working in the area of computer science and information technology. And he again is a very he's a researcher who doesn't take a lot of research projects. He has already published 55 papers in different journals of repute, and he has done his PhD also in the area of computer science. And nowadays what we find is there are so many vocations which are basically pertaining to information and communication technology. And
Seni sir, sorry to interrupt in between. Pratik sir has not joined in the session. He's engaged in some other engagements.
So in case he has not joined, then I think so we'll move on to our Russian delegate, Russian panelist. And may I then request Madam Dina Makiva. So Madam Dina Makiva from Russia, I would request her to share her experiences, and her experiences particularly in the area of as to how they go about involving corporate in providing training to Abilympic contestants, and also as to how the employment and self-employment is provided to those who win certain position, maybe first, second, third in international Abilympics. What sort of support system and what sort of opportunities, or how is it they are rewarded thereafter? So I request Madam Dina to respond to these queries, to these questions. Over to Dina, please.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for organizing such an important event. My name is Dina Makieva. I am a Russian representative in IAF Executive Committee. And today I will tell you about the Abilympics movement development in Russia. Russia joined in the Abilympics movement in 2015. We have done a lot in 7 years. Russia has organized 6 national championships so far. This year we had to cancel the championship due to COVID-19. The number of contestants grows each year, and more regions of Russia are involved in Abilympics movement. There are Abilympics regional centers in each of 85 regions of Russia. We have organized 498 regional championships in 7 years. National and regional Abilympics are held in the framework of the national project Образование, Education, as a part of a federal project Молодые профессионалы, Young Professionals. Different ministries and public organizations are engaged in the organization of Abilympics championships. The Ministry of Education is supervising the Abilympics movement development in Russia. At the moment, contestants of all nosologies are participating in the competition. In Russia, as well as all over the world, people are concerned about the employment of disabled people. Abilympics contests help people with disabilities to find a job. Together with the government of Russia, we are aiming at the full employment of our contestants. Unfortunately, business activity and self-employment among persons with disabilities are still poorly developed in our country. We conduct training on the development of these skills. There are also support measures from the state for business people. We will be interested in India's experience on this issue. We would like to invite you to share your experience as part of a business program of the International Abilympics. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you, Dina, Mavika, and thanks for your input. I'm sure some of your suggestions would be definitely followed by our Indian participants, and they'll make use of these suggestions in while participating in International Abilympics. We have yet another panelist from Russia, and our next panelist is Madam Marina Nevaskava. So may I request you, ma'am, to kindly share your experiences of organizing International Abilympics. And what I expect from you is particularly, your corporate connection. How is it corporate, NGOs and government, they really support Abilympic movement? And based on your experiences of preparing for International Abilympics, your specific suggestions to Indian contingent. And the basic idea is to improve the effectiveness of our participation in International Abilympics. So over to Marina, ma'am, please.
Thank you very much, Professor Saini, sir. Thank you very much, colleagues, for inviting us to participate in your panel. I will be quite brief, but I would like to give you a few figures in order to illustrate what we've done in 7 years, because Abilympics movement has been introduced to Russia 7 years ago. Through 7 years, we conducted several national championships and a lot of regional championships. So the movement grew because we started with 250 participants, and now we've got, last year we had 14,500 people, disabled people participating. So all in all, the Abilympics family is more than 50,000 participants. Out of them, 70% is either employed or continue their education. We consider that to be a very good result. The people who are unemployed, they're unemployed for different reasons. Some of them seek work. There are several women who are pregnant or take their leave to take care of their newborns, unfortunately. Then we have several people who are in the process of changing their life path, and they're being re-educated or getting additional education for further employment. What I would like to stress is that it's been quite progress in a very short period of time. The reason for that is that we enjoy a very profound state support. National Abilympic Center is part of the system of the Ministry of Education, and it helps a lot. All the championships, they are enjoying state finance, which is also a crucial factor. We start quite early. The unique characteristic of this movement in Russia is that we differ from the international level because we start really early school. So even while children are not participating in the Abilympics yet, they're still being prepared for that already. The contestants, we also differ from the international competition because we have 3 age groups. People compete as school children, then we have students, that is people who are studying on vocational training and higher education programs, and then there are adults, we call them specialists like in other countries, but we divide them into 3 target groups, and basically we are now planning to conduct the Abilympics for early ages, because we feel that the earlier they are involved and test their ground, so to speak, the better we can prepare them later for being employed. Experts, we train a lot of experts. It's a very specific part of our work, and we have just finished and rounded up the National Forum of Experts, of judges, because we feel that we need to educate the educators in order for them to be able to provide meaningful support for the children and of people of later ages. The organizers, which is also very important, because as I said, we enjoy a huge support from the state. And for example, the person who is heading the organizational committee for the 10th International Abilympics is our Vice Prime Minister. We consider that to be a huge factor in the process of development. And one of our know-how, so to speak, is that we managed to lobby the introduction of very specific KPIs for the leaders of the regions and for all concerned with the process of vocational and general education, because all the heads of our schools, all the heads of our educational system, like universities, colleges, all the regions, represented by their governors, they have KPIs of preparing Abilympics teams. We also have, it helps a lot, mind you, it helps a lot because it really attracted the attention of the state governance and really focused the attention of educational organizations. We also have several training sessions which are open, like master classes for the people with disabilities, because some of them are quite reluctant to join us, but just by watching, just by taking part in those extracurricular activities, they are being involved more and more each year, which we see, and we see the huge interest. We also see the interest of business partners, and we have a special program, and several people in the National Center, they work specifically with business and industrial partners, and it's a huge program of trainings, of entrepreneurship, of employment. We have also, and we introduced new additions to the legislation where the businesses enjoy several tax preferences and several other bonuses if they employ people with disabilities and disabled people. We also seek to broaden the number of contest skills. We consider that to be absolutely necessary. The contest skills, they differ from a region to a region, because you understand our regions differ a lot geographically wise, economically wise. So each region introduce its own competition program beside the general competition skills which are being introduced to the national competitions. And we started with about 23 competition skills, and now we have about 150 at the national level. We also introduced, and here I boast a little bit because I'm in charge of the competition translators, which we consider to be very highly employable, because we don't need a lot of special environment created specifically for those people who participate. In this competition skills, I have people with a lot of different nosologies, with wheelchair people, people with hearing disabilities, people who are visually impaired, people with cognitive disabilities. And in many cases, the origin of and the nosology of their disability provides a huge benefit in a way that manifestation of their nosology is adapted perfectly to their future profession and to their future employment. For example, people with Asperger, people with autistic disorders, they are really practically created for very specific translative work, like translation of technical texts, because for a lot of people it would be boring. For me, for example, it would be extremely boring, but for people with autistic symptoms, it's practically heaven sent, because it really hones their characteristic features, and they become very sellable and very employable.
Madam Marina, could I request you to kindly quickly conclude?
Yes. So basically, what I would like to say is that we will be perfectly happy to share with our Indian colleagues our best practices. We analyze them at the level of the National Center of Abilympics. We can provide you with our statistics, with the most employable competition skills, with the skills which we feel might be employable on an international level, because what we feel we need to do now already, we need to discuss, and we hope to discuss it in August at the 10th International Abilympics through the business program. We would like to discuss the potential for international employment, which is probably the next step. It might be a little bit early, but if we do not start this conversation, we might be late when it actually happens. Thank you very much. And
thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Madam Marina, for sharing your experiences and your approaches to enriching experiences pertaining to participation in International Abilympics. Thank you very much. And look forward to interacting more during International Abilympics with you. Ladies and gentlemen, now we come to our last presentation, and the last panelist with us is Dr. Kranti Anand. Dr. Kranti Anand is represent Sgt University. He is a seasoned faculty member, and he is the one who basically works in the area of media, design, creative, and poster design, etc. And these are some of the areas which I personally believe these do provide many employment and self-employment avenues to both able-bodied as well as person with disability. So many PWDs, they may like to opt for career in these particular areas. And Dr. Kranti, basically being with this sort of background, I request him to kindly let us know what could be the opportunity for PWDs, particularly in the area of poster designing, media, creative field, advertising, etc., or graphic designing, etc. And maybe in days to come, some of these skills, they get included in skill competition within the country and also at international level. Over to Dr. Kranti. Kindly limit yourself for your presentation, 3 to 4 minutes. Okay.
Thank you very much, Sani sir. Very thanks. Firstly, I'm thankful to NAI, the National Abilympic Association of India, and Sarthak Educational Trust, along with Sgt University, which providing me this wonderful opportunity, which inculcates a sense of responsibility in me, where I worked with these PWD, or I would say that differently able or specially able candidates, and try to teach them the new skills. And my association with the differently abled or specially abled candidates goes long back, where I have made a few documentaries on the different aspects of their life and the challenges, especially for the blind children. Now, the responsibility with which I am trusted is to train Onkar for the poster designing skill. Onkar has a difficulty in hearing, and it must have instructed in the sign language. But to my image, Sarthak Educational Trust, along with me and Onkar's father Vijay Dharurkarji, proposed a new way of teaching to Onkar. As a pedagogy, now I am teaching both Onkar and his father Vijay Dharurkarji. This new method, the father, son, both along with me, is showing very positive result. This innovative way is provided to be a success for the teaching learning process. Technically, what I am doing, I have used the father-son understanding for this equation. But now the big challenge has come to us, that how to explain the technical languages to Onkar's father, because Onkar's father is not a techno savvy. So to overcome this, I started using different photographs, which the help of this visual teaching aid, I was able to explain complex topics like elements and the principle of design very well and very easily to Onkar. And I am also kept my language very simple and started teaching with common examples, like to understand the element and the principles of design. I gave a cooking example to understand the element and the principle of design. Okay, let's take all the element as the ingredients. That the elements are that line, shape, and color. These are the ingredients like salt, oil, and spices required for a recipe. And the principle of design is like what the way to prepare the dish, means use the lines, shapes, color, etc. with the concept to prepare a design. And we starting these common examples and continued with this the process. So far, the entire process has been online, but when we starting scheduling the online classes, I have came to know that the suitable time for Onkar will be after 8 p.m. because he is already employed, na. So according to Onkar's wish, I started giving him classes at 8 o'clock. For the online classes, I have started working on the theory, that is a concept of poster design, key features of design, elements, principles, use of text, layout, flow, color theory, etc. is explained in detail as possible. And I also gave Onkar the assignments of poster designing through the feedback mechanism. And the feedback mechanism is the Onkar's father, Shri Vijayji. I always take feedback from him, and I can ensure that Onkar has understood the concept. It has been very positive so far, means the feedback of all my classes is very positive. And now what is the future plan to train Onkar? From 6 January 22 onwards, Onkar, along with his father, will coming to join the practical classes at Pragati Maidan, where I will hold the practical session. Means we are going to work on the applications or the softwares, and the session is of I think 5 days long, from 6 January to 10th of January. Even after this, boot camp will be organized in Delhi, and the process of practical classes will be continued. These are the future plans. And as you said that the job opportunities for those who have a skill of that poster designing or media related, yes, there are many job opportunities, since that Onkar is already have a job. So we have in India, there are many opportunities. In the end, I would thank NAI and Sarthak Education Trust, especially Shri Rajat Mohanji, and my university, Sgt University, for providing me the wonderful opportunity. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Kranti Anand, for sharing your experiences. And I'm sure the kind of flexible approach you have, so that would make the participant more comfortable and they'll be in a position to learn the skills better. Okay, thank you very much. Grateful to you. So, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of this presentation. In fact, the tone for this particular session was set by Madam Guneet Sethi. And because of some connectivity issue, in fact, I could not participate in the session for initial 5 to 10 minutes, and that delayed the session as well. So, having set the ball rolling, thereafter I was assigned the task of moderating. And we had, in fact, 9 presentations scheduled, but out of 9, 8 could take place. And it's Dr. Pratik Jan, maybe because of some engagement elsewhere, he could not participate. So we had 8 presentations. Dr. Bhushan Punani basically spoke about his experiences of working in the area of disability and as to how the government support can be mobilized. Dr. Karmanda gave us little idea about as to how the corporate support can be availed for providing exposure at national and international level to person with disability. Then we had Mr. Igor from Russia, who shared his own experience as to how they are going about preparing for international Abilympics. So thereafter, we had Dr. Jitendra Jamda, who has been associated with disability for such a long time and making significant contribution in taking forward this Abilympic movement. We had inputs from Dr. Sushma Goyal. In fact, Dr. Sushma Goyal and Dr. Kranti, they shared their, experiences of working with some of our potential participants. And I think so one can always pick up some good points from that. And they have also listened to our international guests, particularly our persons who are really organizing this 2022 International Abilympics. And their suggestions are definitely going to help us. So I would like to thank all the presenters, particularly our panelists from abroad. So now with these few words, I would now like to hand it over to Madam Guneet Sethi, who is chairing this session. And now maybe she may like to say a few words towards end of this session. So over to Madam Guneet Sethi, please.
So as I promised you in the beginning, that we are going to have a very interesting panel discussion. I think my words came true and everybody contributed so well. Thanks from Sarthak and an International Abilympics Association. And now I think we are running short of time because the next panel discussion has to come up. So Professor Saini, you moderated very well, and all the speakers, they gave very good inputs, very good knowledge. Thank you so much, everybody. And I think here we should conclude the session. Thank you.
Our sincere thanks to technical team.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to
Our sincere
thank
thanks
you to
to
all the
technical
panelists.
team. I suppose one formality remains. Bhavna,
yes, sir.
you told me about this thing, virtual presentation of some memento to the speaker. How do we do that?
So Sani sir, this is Ram. So we'll be displaying the memento and you can read the name and hand it over to the speaker virtually. Vishal, you may change the screen.
So the first one is Marina Nevskaya from Russia. So can we hand over the memento to her?
Right, so Vishal, you may change the screen.
Okay. Next one is Madam Dinah Makiwa, and this memento can be handed over to her. Dr. Bhushan Punani, who is a legend in the area of disability, was in fact one of the key speakers. And I would request to hand over this memento to Dr. Bhushan Punani, please. Then we had Dr. Sushma Goyal from Lady Irwin College, and she's been associated with training of person with disability. So this memento, we would request to give this memento to Dr. Sushma Goyal, please. Next, we have Dr. Jitendra Jamda from Madhya Pradesh, who has been so deeply associated with this thing, strengthening of international Abilympics. So kindly hand over this memento to Dr. Jitendra Jamda.
Thank you.
Next memento we need to give to Dr. Kranti Anand from Sgt University. And he is the one who has been exploring the unexplored area, and both for employment and self-employment of person with disability.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
And of course, our veteran Dr. Colonel Ravi Kharbanda, who has been doing a lot of work at national and international level, particularly in the area of skill development and developing corporate connection. So this memento may kindly be handed over to him.
Thank you so very much, sir.
And then, of course, Mr. Igor Gribanov, the main organizer of this thing, International Abilympics. So we, as a matter of respect, so as a gesture of respect, we would like to hand over this memento to him. And of course, Madam Guneet Sethi, she is the one who managed the whole show. In fact, she initiated the discussion and concluded the discussion. So, and I know the way she's been experimenting some unique approaches in her own company with regard to promoting employment of persons with disability. So she definitely deserve a very a lot of congratulations, and we would like to give her this memento.
Thank you, Professor Sani.
And okay.
Guneet ma'am, you can hand it over to Sani sir.
Okay. Thank you, Guneet ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
So
Thank you.
a big applause for everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you, Professor Sani.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I would like to thank each and all the panelists, particularly our guest from Russia, and special thanks to our media team and Sarthak team. So Team Sarthak has really done a wonderful job, and all of you have contributed a lot. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.